An important part of this project moving forward is going to be getting your camera placed in the exact right spot. Now, we obviously don't have an exact location of where this picture was taken in relation to our model, but we can kind of tell by looking at this and then looking at the floor plan we have in 3ds Max. We also don't know the zoom angle or anything like that on our camera, but once we get it in there, we can eyeball things and try to make it match this. There is some things we can gather from this photo. One thing I've noticed, one thing we can do, and I'll show you, is get the vanishing point. So if you follow these lines in perspective, they should take you right to a vanishing point, which is obviously right there. And then you have your horizon line. And you can see that the horizon line is right about, and the horizon line is going to be the level that our camera's at too. It's right about at the level of the chair arms and this table here. And I'm estimating, and you can see by the bricks here, you count those bricks and estimate them to be at about 3 inches maybe. I'm thinking that this camera is probably placed at about just 18 to 20 inches off the ground, maybe a little higher than that. So that gives us some good information there. Another thing that's interesting to me is that the horizontal lines, like this one, and this one, and this one, are all perfectly straight. Now that's not easy to do, especially considering that the verticals are all straight as well, as you can see. So the vertical and the horizontal lines can be adjusted using tilt-shift cameras, which we do have the capability of using in 3ds Max, and I'll show you how to do that. However, this is still a hard camera angle to match exactly. Now what I've determined is, and I think what's going on is, first of all, we don't know how much of this is adjusted in Photoshop, but I think professional photographers usually try to get this kind of stuff in camera and not highly edit it afterwards, aside from maybe levels and curves and things like that. I suspect that this is probably achieved in camera, but the truth is we just don't know if this was Photoshopped afterwards. That being said, I think because this line right here is perfectly straight, even though it's not right in line with the center of the camera, I think what that tells me is the camera is actually right under this line here, or very close to it, which means that this distance, let's put that on its own layer, this distance should actually be equal to this distance here to the edge of the camera, although you can see that it's cutting off about that much. So I'm thinking that maybe the camera was placed right under this line, and there was originally more to be seen over here, and it was just cropped. So with that in mind, that will kind of help us. So what we need to do from here now is get the image size, and you can take that and that gives you your proportions. We need to set those proportions exactly up in Max, and I think what I'm actually going to do is add on this extra piece over here so that the camera actually works, and then we'll just crop it after the fact. So let's get into the next lecture and I'll show you how to actually set up your camera.